Welcome. I'd like to start off by just saying thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. So you're looking at a New York loft type theme. So let's talk about what that includes. Natural surfaces often includes brick, solid wood, cast iron, modern chair design, and natural surfaces in general. So that includes wood, leather sometimes. As you can see, there's quite a lot of brick. If you do any search for New York loft, these are the images that you get up on Google and a few other search images. So you can see there's a mixture of modern together with natural surfaces, often greenery and lighting. And this is something that we can do to very good effect. So having taken some exact measurements on site, we've recreated the upstairs and the downstairs of your cricket pavilion. And we've gone ahead and duplicated those so that we've got various designs that you can look at, which all illustrate certain choices that you need to make. We've really done some extensive research with the design team so that we've made sure that we've explored quite a few options, looking at functionality and impression and fit within the brief of that New York loft theme. So imagine both rooms have been stripped bare and you've done the flooring. And I'd just like to say here, all the models you're going to see of the upstairs in particular, I've put grey carpet down. The only reason for that is because then you can see the furniture much more clearly, especially with those colours. The screen won't show the nuances of colour, so I've just put grey so that you can see all the furniture really clearly. So for the upstairs, let's start with the upstairs. We've given you two options, and then there are actually quite a few options within that, but that's best explained and described looking at the actual floor plans and designs that we've come up with. So starting with Chesterfields, we do an excellent and very wide range of Chesterfields, many of which have that very classic styling. We're doing two jobs currently, one in Chelsea and one in Sheffield at the moment, and we can do that red that you were asking for, and I don't think that that excludes the kind of designs that you're looking at. They can still be very modern. We also have stools, which are very good space-saving solutions, and various bespoke options, so we'll talk about that in a minute. So looking at the classic Chesterfield option, your main issue is going to be to do with depth. So when you put this size of Chesterfield in place, this is the only real way to orient them within the piers, those beams that you have upstairs. We'll talk about the stools and the extra seating, but just looking at the sofas for now. The alternative is something shallower with a high back, like this. And that allows the creation of booths. Would still need something smaller in the last pier. This would be a good alternative to turn it round and have seats facing, and then obviously another sofa higher up as well. The final option is a fully bespoke route. So we can create that exact shape of Chesterfields. We would need to know that this is definitely what you're looking for, and there is a small design charge which is waived at the point of order. So we've drawn up a full quote for this configuration. So I'll start with the absolute highest end. This is having everything in the Chesterfield style. So the tub chairs are in the Chesterfield style, and then you've got the sofas, 6 of the larger 3-seat sofas. I've put in 8 stools there. That's not within the plan, but you can have those and then be able to take them out. I think that's quite a versatile solution, especially considering you're still going to have that screen to show films. Then we'll be using a solid wood top tables with cast iron bases. Let's show you some pictures of those. These are the styles available, and they're also available in all 3 relevant heights. So coffee poseur, as we call it, which is the standing or bar top height, and then this could be used underneath the long tables in front of the sofas. They're all cast iron, and then all the tops would be solid wood in whatever finish you require. I would suggest a walnut would go well with the red leather. So we've also included the custom bar, which could be made in the floor plan. I've drawn a rectangle, but we can make that with a curved front. And then I would suggest using this excellent product that we have, which is wall cladding, and it removes the need to do any kind of decoration because you clad on top of the existing wall. It looks excellent, and in fact some of the example pictures that I found online for New York loft themes actually have our product in them. This is the finish I've included, but there are quite a few others. You've got distressed white, a little bit less multicolored red brick, and also some white. You wouldn't want to have the dark colors throughout the room. And then I've also included for stacked wood effect behind the bar, because obviously there'll be some making good if you take that cupboard away. And then there's no need to hire a plasterer and a decorator. There is also stone effects if you chose to add a bit of that as well. So included in your quote is doing this multicolored brick along here, and then this entire wall going right up to the top in white brick. That's going to give you that New York loft feel. And then I couldn't do it only to a section, but what I was suggesting before is that the stacked wood effect is behind the bar, so we take out the cupboard that's here already and have that stacked wood effect as far as the bar and behind and on the sloping roof. Another advantage with it is that it's made out of fiberglass. The texture is very good. The kind of paints that are used on it, they're all cleanable. It's a lot more cleanable than a wall, and it creates that very nice natural finish. Finally, for this traditional option, there are a few ways to save money. So the main one that I've noticed is that if you change from these tub chairs, there's a huge saving to be made if you change the tub chairs to something a bit more modern, which would suit the new theme that you have. So if you had 11 of those instead of 8 of the tub chairs, it reduces the quote by £4,500. I think that would be a much better use of money, and I'll show you some images. You've got a huge range of chairs to choose from. Another way would be, if you're happy with us using this project, because it's a nice building and that kind of thing, this is the kind of project that we're very interested in having as a case study. If you're happy doing a little video at the end, just very honestly saying what your experience has been with us, and a little audio interview for us, then we'll reduce the quote by £550. That helps us out and will help you out in return. Another way is if you didn't want solid wood. Obviously solid wood is real wood, it's a nice material, but laminates tend to be a little bit more durable and also waterproof. If you were to change from solid wood to premium laminate, that would reduce £20 per table, which is a total saving of £120. Obviously that's a drop in the ocean compared to the £4,500 for the tub chairs. And then if you wanted to replace solid wood tops with standard laminate, that would save you £270. The difference between premium laminates and standard laminates, premium laminates a little bit thicker and the edging is a little bit neater, but standard laminate is like what you see on a lot of MFC furniture. It still looks very good, and it can still have a wood effect that goes along with the sofas. So these are the alternative chairs, and there are two versions, and this very much matches the theme that you would like. But for this kind of pricing, you have an incredible diversity of chairs that you could choose from within the ranges that we have. So all of these chairs are a similar kind of price. So have a think about it. You can pause the video at any time. I would also suggest that the chair that we've chosen allows both a high chair and a low chair, so that you can take that same theme downstairs to the cafeteria area, and I think it would be very nice to tie the two areas together in some way. So these are the two layouts for the modern option. You can obviously add stools quite easily. It's really just a case of whether you want the extra and you want the more rounded shape. And then these are tub chairs. And the tables are exactly the same. So essentially the only difference is that you can go the more modern look of sofas. So for the most expensive version of this, it's about 2,000 and a bit cheaper than the Chesterfield option. If you're happy with us using your project as a case study, then obviously that brings it down to 2,450. If you didn't want the high backs and you wanted to remove those, that brings that down 180 per unit. So that brings it down to 20,000. And then just to note that two-tone on these sofas is free. So that's actually quite rare that you can get that. But on this particular range, we're running a promotion at the moment. So you can have two different shades or two different colors of vinyl or fabric on the same sofa. What I've included could look something like this. The reason that I've oriented like this is because I would suggest some standing tables because some people won't be popping in for very long, and obviously because of people entering and going through to upstairs or entering and going to the bar, it will actually make the flow of people much easier, and then to have all of the seated area right at the end makes a lot of sense. So the extras that you could add to this are again the brick cladding. Just move that to the side. And then we could also widen the doorway for you, install a lintel, and then we would have to carry out a survey, but we could create a hatchway, and then you could start to use that bar as the main service area. Obviously a hatchway will make it much easier, potentially allow you to just have one member of staff in the cooking area and one member in the serving area. And then we also have a sister company that does excellent coffee machines. We get very good rates on them. We've installed them before. I'll show you some pictures of them. This is with maintenance, installation, and all the accessories required, and the very important addition of a coin operation. So you could actually take away a lot of staff time and have all hot drinks served from the same machine, and students can go and help themselves while one member of staff serves food. And then I'll just show you a picture now of the bespoke Chesterfield that could go in here. I showed you a picture before, the circular Chesterfield. It would be a bit smaller than the one I showed you, but it would look something like the following. Ignore the colouring of these images to the greater extent. That's something best chosen with swatches and samples laid side by side. So here's the actual machine included, but we do lots of other types. You may not want the coin operation, you may want staff to actually serve. I would suggest it would be a good idea with younger students there to have at least a machine which allows hot chocolate. We can also do one which is purely operated by staff, such as you find in a cafe, with all the accessories and everything that's required. Here's one of those machines installed right next to some of our wall cladding. So finally, the last option for downstairs, which would be my suggested choice. It's cheaper, and you use all the same kind of chairs downstairs. It's obviously easier to clean. It basically means that you don't have any tub chairs, and then you've got all of the same added extras. So you can choose to add the wall cladding and all the extras that I mentioned previously. So these images are examples, but again you have an incredible amount of choice. In these images you have low and high chairs, but you can change these in many different ways, and of course if you wanted to add a splash of colour, then there are lots to choose from. If these kind of chairs are not to yours or the students' liking, then the other theme which fits with New York Loft is a copper effect. And so I'm also offering you the option, instead of having wood on the top of the bar, is to have this incredible epoxy using pennies. I'm sure you've seen penny floors before. It's an amazing effect. It's very, very hard wearing material. Even after a few years of use, you can scratch it and then polish it again, so it comes up like new. There are also some very striking metallic pigment effects. If you were to go for this, then I would suggest changing the chairs to something with a copper effect, which this is one of the kinds that we do. Thank you for watching, and I do hope you can benefit from the solutions we provided and the products we have to offer. Do also feel free to get in touch and take full advantage of our design service.